All right, guys, JC Sense 2026 Computex. We made it to the BeQuiet suite. We made it to the BeQuiet suite. That's better. Thank you.
Computex 2026 coverage is proudly sponsored by Fantex, with support from Asus ROG, NZXT, Haven, and Cooler Master, helping us bring you wall-to-wall coverage direct from Taipei.
Okay, guys, so here I am with Kevin at BeQuiet. We talked with him before. Remember the Lederhosen? That was a fun time.
That was fun.
Big old pretzels.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have a few things we'll talk about here. This is actually not a release product right now. It's what he's calling P1 sample, which is like early engineering. But this is the Pure Base 803. Think of it as a kind of a chassis that can fit a lot of use cases, a lot of parts, custom water cooling, but it's also perfect for like workstations. And we can't deny we're in the AI age, right? And people are building local machines to also do local LLMs and such. And so this is a perfect chassis that fits what? EAB? The big boys.
The monsters, yeah.
Right? But what caught my attention here is the fact that we have 2 exhaust fans. So this is kind of taking flow to the next level. So walk me through it real quick.
All right, so again, as you said, it was the Pure Base 803.
An early sample, I just want to point that out.
Yes, definitely P1 sample. So a lot of the features that I'm going to present to you are probably going to be implemented, but there might be some subtle changes as we go through. But yeah, as you notice, we've got some monster fans throughout this whole thing. I mean, these are 140s, and you've got 2 in the back. So I mean, you've got support for almost like a 280 millimeter radiator on the back.
Getting ahead of myself here.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay, that never happened.
That's okay. That's all right. He's never built a PC before, so. But if you grab it from the back, yeah. So there's even actually a little bit of a dimple in the back here. So
I'm just so used to the side.
The little side pop too. So.
But it's got 2, 4, 6 snaps in there.
Yep, and then you got the guides in it as well
mushroom snaps.
Yep, but you got support for a 420 radiator, depending on where you want to put it, whether it's the top, the side, the back. And as you said before, we've got the ability to mount some hard drive cages as well.
So far you were saying these are not included with the case.
Correct.
They can be purchased.
Correct.
So I think it's because the BeQuiet recognized like, hey, most people now are running M.2s and they're just tossing the drive cages anyway. It's lost material, it's lost cost for you guys. Don't include it, let them request it and purchase it separately if they need it. Absolutely. How many can it fit as its current?
Well, in its current state, you can actually put 8 in there, which is pretty crazy. But if you don't want to actually run any hard drives in there, we do include the fan frame. So if you want to mount your fans onto the side, right, you can definitely do that.
So speaking of airflow, these are 140s that are installed now, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 140s on the bottom, 3 140s in the front. I see the rail supports something potentially even wider than that.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly right. So in the front here, we have extra brackets that will take the front off, and then you can put in spacing to support 180 millimeter fans.
Okay, so you could fit 3 140s in the front, potentially 3 180s? No, probably only 2, huh?
2.
Yeah.
2 180s in the front there. But again, it is ability to
Is that what
change
this bracket's for, 2 right here? No, that's
so
120 and 40.
Yeah, that's going to be 120 and 140 for the sides.
But another 420 worth of fans on the side panel. So you could have 9 140 intakes on this.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Wow.
and that's actually what you got here. I've got 3 up front, 3 up on the top, and then 3 on the bottom. And actually, the 3 that are up on the top are silent loop 3, the 420 millimeter radiator. So.
And then 2 exhaust on the back too.
Yep. So support up to 280 millimeters. And to be honest, I haven't done it yet, but I really want to put a 280 mil rad on the back just because it's fun, right? Like
you'd have to deal with overhang, but looks like you could fit a 30 mil in there.
And that's what I'm saying, like a little 90 degree or like a little swivel or something like that. That'd make that happen. But my eyes, the custom builder in me wants to put like 5 rads in here.
Yeah,
I know that's crazy.
Same
that's
thing
silly.
here.
But like, and you know.
I mean, obviously it's a Cooler Master product, but I just put 4 360s in a case that was never advertised to support it. I remember I asked them, I said, will 4 fit? They went, I don't know.
Right, exactly. And
why would anyone want to do that? I'm like, because I want to, so let's do it.
So, and this gives you that opportunity to do that as well. Now, do we want to say that you can? Yeah, maybe, but I don't exactly know what the orientation would be because, again, this is P1 sample.
You were saying vertical mounts included with a PCIe 5 riser or Gen 5 riser?
No, so the riser is separate. Again, we're kind of giving you that ability to put it whatever way you want to.
Okay, so it includes the bracket, but you have to supply your own riser cable.
Riser cable. Yep, and the bracket is just 4 screws on the back, and that just flips, jam it in.
I like it that way because it gets more anchor points when it actually uses the I/O slots that way. Yeah. I love its industrial design. Like I love the look of this. So for me personally, I just love like these busy slats, you know. But this is a solid side panel model, right?
Yeah.
So this is intended to be truly like this is form or function over form first, even though it looks nice. But this is like exactly what I imagine a high-end workstation would look like. But there is a consumer version of this case that you guys kind of have on display.
Yeah, absolutely. It's called the 803LX, and I'll show it to you over there.
Best of Computex 2026. I love how it's a 3D printed award. Do you guys print your own award? Is that what this is? All right, so the LX, the more consumer,
more flashy friendly model, right? Yeah. Okay, so as we were talking about tool lists, that's kind of cool. The glass tool list. But the front also, boom, comes right off, which is kind of cool. But as you were talking about...
Oh yeah, the front doesn't come off like that at all, does it?
Well, the reason it doesn't is because, hey, we don't have support here for the fans. But included
that's still, oh my God, that's still really rigid.
That's
though.
pretty rigid,
Holy
right?
cow, okay.
And it's got an AIO hanging out of it too, right? It's really pretty solid.
Like it's not like diamond or twisting, you know?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Like, okay. That's more rigid than some cases that are assembled.
All right, stop eating up my P1 sample, okay?
I was giving it praise, okay? No,
it's sturdy.
Look at that. Absolutely crap. Nobody should buy this.
It's a single chamber. As you can see, it's a little bit different than the black one. They're P1 samples, so we're still trying to figure out what's working, what's not working.
I'm opening this one up because this one has a much better shroud up here than that curved one.
Yeah.
Because again, just another sample of how they would, address this. I like these lines because they tie in the rest of the case.
Right, and this is...
There's nothing curved on this, so why would that be smooth?
That shouldn't be smooth and or curved or anything in that thought process. But again, it's a design aspect where we're trying to figure out what's going to work and what's not. Some people are starting to make the curved glass and whatnot. Clearly, that's not in our wheelhouse. We don't want to do that. So... in this case, we've got support for 140 millimeter fans all the way throughout, just like the other case. Still has your GPU support and everything like that that's going to be implemented. But then again, you have the ability to change your I/O panel depending on what you want and where you need it, which is kind of neat. So you can actually take the I/O panel right out, boom, and then if you want it up on top, you can definitely put it there. Again, it's kind of aimed towards that whole enterprise aspect, right? If the case is going to be on the ground.
Well, it's a big chassis like this might make its way on the floor in an office or
exactly.
something.
Hopefully not on the ground, elevated at least 6 inches, please. With this one, now that it's all solid glass panels and whatnot, it does have a nice appeal, and you got plenty of room for activities inside.
I love how this had to be slid as far back as possible to make this reach. That really shows how large this chassis is.
Yeah. This is a 360 model and is pretty much almost all the way to the back.
360 and whatever the GPU this is looks out of place in here because it's such a big chassis.
It's so big, right? At least over on the black one. Now, Roby and I put this together on stream. So you got a 9950X 3D2 and a 5090 in there, which is, that's a pretty big boy system, right? To you, it's probably not a big boy system. But it is still a pretty high-end system, and we wanted to show that even if you do put that big of hardware inside of it, you still have plenty of room to accommodate a lot of other things.
Okay, so these fans are really boring. Why don't we take a look at some new fans you guys got coming?
Sounds like a plan.
I'm a fan of these fans. Okay, I'll leave. So one of the things I love about the Lightwings lineup is the early days of BeQuiet were very against lighting. Like, no lighting. 9 black fans. Yes, that's it.
That's exactly it. Yep.
And now you guys are like, fine, we'll lean into it a little bit. But this is kind of like Lightwings have been out for a while, but this is now like the Lightwings Pro IO360, which is a frame style, which means all 3 fans are encompassed in the same frame. But what I like about this versus what a lot of other companies that are creating the single frame is it is USB-C cable right here, but it allows you to individually address each one of these lighting sections in the frame. So it's not like all the frame has to be doing the same thing, which a lot of them are. Like, let's say you're going with the cheaper brands that you might find on Temu or Amazon or whatever. They'll have an ARGB plug, but they all have to conform to one input. So this is carrying data and power via the hub, but the fact that I think it's tastefully done. I do like these angles that are kind of cut in here. They're probably not the most airtight fan, if you will, because of the way they curve down, but they carry a lot of aesthetic, and I do like the way that this looks. But these are the 120s, and available 140 and 120.
Correct.
I forget the specs though on how many. So this is 126 LEDs, I think.
Yeah, I think it's about 126 in this particular model.
But each hub can support 250 LEDs. So it's the thing with RGB is it's not how many fans, it's how many lights, how many LEDs are in the component. So one hub could actually easily deal with, even though it's like think 2 LEDs over or something, or maybe it's 124, I don't remember. The point is one hub can power 2 of these. And then the hubs are daisy chainable side by side where they can click together.
Controllers for the I/O products, which you'll get with every product, are able to daisy chain together. So you only have one that has your power, that has your RGB, and then has your PWM signal, and then you're able to daisy chain the other connector to it and just provide a power, and it already does the data and the PWM over the same connection.
Now here's the thing, the 360 millimeter gives you the hub with it, like a kit. The 120s do not. So, and they do not have a pass-through, they're only a single, like they receive the signal. So the idea here would be like you can have a 360 at the top or on the back, or you know, where an exhaust would be or an AIO, and then if you have your rear fan, it could just daisy chain onto this. But these don't come with a hub. So think of the 120s as more of like an expansion pack to add a single fan somewhere. But you'll have to have a hub already either through the frame, or if, I don't know if you sell them individually or would.
Well, basically any of the I/O products is going to come with an I/O controller, whether it's the Dark Rock Pro 6 I/O LCD, the Dark Rock or the Dark Power 14 I/O, or anything like that. Anything with the I/O nomenclature, except for the single individual fans, the expansion fans, are going to come with that.
Now the cool thing about the cable here is it not only connects the different fans together, like the I/O 360 or the 120, but also the AIOs use the same cable. So you can actually control the AIO lighting and the data and what you see on the screen by that one cable in the same hub. So you just mentioned the dark power, right?
Yeah.
So does this have a pass-through on it?
So the power supply itself is actually going to go directly from USB 3, and then it's going to go into your internal USB. This is going to be one of the only products that actually goes hardcore into the internal USB and doesn't play with the controller, because we want to get all of the data off of this unit as it starts working.
What's on the other end of this? Is it a USB 2 header or a USB 3 header?
USB 2.
Okay, because it's just sending data.
Yeah, it's just sending data. And actually the data is right here. As you can see, I'm going to pick up this mouse here. We have a stress test going, and like
I love the mouse pad.
It's the biggest. It's got a little bit of a curvature to it too, so it's really accurate. Really get to the points where it needs to be. But when we run this stress test here, you can actually see the total power draw that's actually going to be pulled from the power supply, and then how it's actually affecting each of your rails. Now, it might not be per pin like some of the other manufacturers, but one of the cool things that I've come to find is that it has a cost per kilowatt, which is kind of unique in the sense that depending on where you live, and if your kilowatt hours are a lot more expensive than others, you can actually update the calculations here, click refresh, and then it's actually showing you how much you're spending as it's using the power. And so now we're doing this poll, it just jumped up to about 450 watts, and now as you're going up, you've spent about 8 cents worth of power, which is kind of cool, you know, and now obviously that will change depending on where you live.
Now this is also pulling on the total uptime too, right?
Yep.
So he didn't just spend 8 cents right now. This has been up for 12 hours.
Right, and as I've been doing different things, I
just want to point out that it didn't look like it was 8 cents per 20 seconds.
Per second. No. But it is continuing to calculate how much you're actually pulling throughout the entire time that this unit has been running.
What I think is cool about this though is it shows the live efficiency. Right, because that's taken into account, that efficiency curve. So this is what that power supply looks like right here. What I like is that it has two 12-volt 2x6 on there. A lot of graphics cards now, are, especially in the 90 tier, are starting to utilize 2 plugs because they realize, split the load, we have a better chance of not melting to death. But obviously, there's that USB-C that plugs into the motherboard, so you have all this information here. I've said this before in this show, and I'll say it again. Power supplies are boring. But they sure as heck can cause a headache. And so having smart power supplies, because we've had digital power supplies forever, but usually that was involved in like digital OCP and stuff like that. So now having it actually give you live telemetry is neat. I have a question about the rail mode. So is this just OCP mode? Because obviously you can't go in here and switch a button and change a physical.
Correct. Yeah, it's just OCP mode.
Okay. So what this is explaining right here is so that means it's a dual 12-volt rail power supply. Okay. So I've said this before in other videos. If you haven't seen it, your power supply has to distribute power. It's got 3.3 volt, 5.5 volt, 12 volt. So most of your SATA devices are going to use 3.3 and 5.5, so, 12 volt. They're a little bit below power draw. But big devices that need a lot of power, your CPU, your graphics card, will connect direct to the 12 volt rail because the power feeds into those are only 12 volt and ground. That's it. And so what you usually would do is power supply companies found it's more efficient to actually build 2 rails that can distribute the power simultaneously. But when it comes to overcurrent protection, each of those rails have an upper limit. something like a 5090, which is the most powerful graphics card consumer grade we've ever seen at 600 watts, can easily exceed what the current protection is on one of those rails individually. So this allows you to say combine them and don't trip unless combined they exceed
that. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, again, it's one of those fail safes where it's like you're pulling too much. And
because the real scenario here is, I guarantee someone watching this video right now has experienced this. They have an older power supply. Power supplies are the thing that can live with your system through the most upgrades usually, because it's just supplying the same power. But if you have an older system that's maybe, say, a 1200 watt power supply or a 1000 watt power supply, and you throw a 5080, 5090 on there, now you're pulling more power through a single cable than was ever designed for that power supply. So people have been emailing me saying, my system's just shutting down when gaming. I don't understand what's happening. You're more than likely hitting OCP because you're overdriving those rails. So, and not really overdriving them, it's just they can't individually combine the limit.
Yeah, exactly. And individually it just causes more problems. So we split it up, we even the load, let both of the rails help, and make it easier for everybody.
Yeah.
Try to.
There's nothing wrong either too if you have a multi-rail and just leaving on single. There's nothing wrong with that either. It's just you have an option now, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, imagine if you took a workstation PC, right? You take a 1500 watt power supply or something. You've got a Threadripper on there, a 96 core Threadripper, and you got two 5090s, right? You definitely need to stick that into a single rail OCP. Otherwise, the moment you hit render, it's probably going to shut itself down.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, exactly.
What I think is nice about this technology making its way to power supplies is it's not driving the price up.
Right.
It's a digital power supply. The information's already there. You know, it's just now you have an interface for it.
And how do we harness that so we can make it as a presentable option, right? You know, not everybody wants to look at a spreadsheet.
Do
and
I
see
think
numbers
most
change.
people won't care about this? Probably. But is it nice to know that it's there? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got a friend of mine he runs dual 5090s for doing LLM stuff and whatnot, and as soon as I showed him this, he's like, "This is the coolest thing I've seen."
Anyway, Kevin, it's always great talking with you, buddy.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks
nice
for
to
being
see you out
here.
here in Taiwan. It's been 8 years since I've been here.
8 years.
I chose a heck of a year to
And
come
you came
back.
to see me
didn't I?
first. I'm so. Thank you.
Well, technically
I'm so-
second, you know.
No, here we go.
Whatever. Actually, third. We have to count the Starbucks. Fourth, if we count the first, BM of the day.
Do you see what I have in my hand? Not Starbucks. See how that is.
This is my steady hand right here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our Computex 2026 coverage. And as always, we'll see you in the next one, which will be in a few minutes.